Brendan Rodgers has been speaking to the media ahead of the Scottish Premiership return this weekend. Some good, some bad. He wants to improve his squad, but he thinks the squad's doing quite good as he aims quite high. Welcome back to Fog Football, and today we're going to be discussing Big Brendan Rodgers. If you want to see predictions, review shows, that was earlier on the day. 10 a.m, 2 p.m, European review show on the channel. Premiership predictions, where did we put the top two, who's getting relegated, who's getting European football on the channel. Go and check it out. But what did Brendan Rodgers say in his first press conference of the new season? He says, and I quote, "This is arguably one of the best pre-seasons I've ever had." That's a Brendan team. "We have to be better in Europe. The ambition is absolutely burning." Bang! Brendan Rodgers in there with a fiery tweet, an absolute fiery tweet. Well, I say tweet, he didn't tweet it, but here I'm reading it via a tweet. He's pointing at that team. He's saying that's a Brendan team. We're going to have to do better in Europe. The ambition is absolutely burning. But is it burning? Because the signings are not burning. The signings are not coming in. Brendan not too happy. He's urging patience with Celtic, but it just seems like it's taking the piss, guys, for Celtic Football Club. Like, what are they doing? All that money. You know, they're beginning to make me feel a wee bit hopeful. The Rangers can do something. All right, maybe I might need to pipe down about that. But when he was talking to Sky Sports earlier on today, he said we had a good squad last season, but we needed to improve on that. You know, he's not shying away from it. He says we're still short on those numbers. Every trophy we'll be going for at Celtic, you're here to win. You know, there's been a lot of toxic Celtic transfer energy, I guess you could say, and you know, Rodgers is kind of like, it's all going to go well, but here, the best way to quell and, you know, squish those rumours is to put in a great performance against Kelly. You know, it won't be complete meltdown mode if Celtic drew against Kelly, but you just know if they did draw against Kelly, that transfers would be getting hyped up, something chronic, man. They really, really would be. It would be going absolutely frickin' mental, to say the least. But Rodgers, they're aiming to win the treble and reach the Champions League knockout stages. So, you know, I don't want to sit here and talk about another Celtic treble possibility because, one, that's painful, and two, you know, they come around like the seasons, the 4 seasons, whatever. But Champions League knockout stages, let's rate Celtic's chances. Well, I mean, if they can replicate what they've done in pre-season, they can absolutely do some damage. They can absolutely do some damage in the Champions League. I know people are going to joke and say, they're in it to get beat 8 times, right? But, you know, Celtic shown last year, like, they were good in spells, even in some games they lost. You know, they were costly on via mistakes. I remember Carter Vickers won each, his mistake made it 2-1. They beat Feyenoord. They went down to 9 men against Feyenoord in the other game. I mean, 4 points was poor considering the level of the group. But on a different, you know, in a different universe, on a different timeline, maybe Celtic Football Club could have got out of that group. But, you know, it's all I've buts, maybes. They'll have 2 extra games this season. And as long as they get a favourable, you know, 8 teams, like, yeah, you can get, like, I think that's what's decent about this. Like, yeah, you could get shafted with 2 teams in this current one, but you're going to, you know, hopefully the other 6 are relatively all right. So, for Brendan Rodgers, Champions League knockout stages are on the agenda. On the agenda for Big Brendan Rodgers. And it's good talk for Rodgers if you're a Celtic man. I mean, maybe I don't think you're sick of winning league titles and cups, but the next step for Celtic Football Club is to definitely do something in Europe. And I think for far too long, they haven't. You know, it's the one thing recently that Rangers have been able to do over Celtic, which is perform better in Europe. At the end of the day, it's not resulted in a trophy, but it's, you know, it's the small, the tiniest grain of rice, of salt that Rangers have been able to say. But what about Europe? If Celtic could, you know, go on a string of like 3, 4, 5 years of performing better in Europe than Rangers, regardless of the competition, I think it would be another nail in Rangers' coffin, and it would clinically depress us all. But anyway, forget about depression. It's a new season. A new season is upon us. Can't wait, guys. I'm fucking buzzing. Till next time. Peace.